Wash your hands, wash them nice and clean. Bubbly, scrubbly, scrubbly, bubbly. Wash them nice and clean.
Did you just go?
Yeah, sorry, bro.
I want to leave.
Hey, what's up? My name is Brayden.
And my name is Robbie.
And we are from Attitude. We used to come into your school before the purge started. Yep. Anyway, it's good to be back. Today we're talking about anxiety.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of craziness going on at the moment, and that also means that there's a whole lot of stress too.
Yeah, straight up. I've heard some pretty crazy things, bro. I've heard that if you want to avoid COVID-19, you should go swimming in boiling water.
Please don't do that, alright? It's bad for your health. I heard someone say that you should build up your immune system by just licking objects.
Alright, are you ready, Mike? Let's just do it. It's gonna be delicious.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot of bad advice, but man, we're also hearing some pretty serious questions, eh? Like, am I going to be okay through this?
Yeah, is my family safe?
Is school going to be cancelled forever?
Good, serious question.
Yeah. And so we thought it would be really helpful if we talked about some ways of managing stress and anxiety. And bro, look, I remember this one time where me and my mates, we're hanging out at the beach and we find these massive blocks of polystyrene. And most people would chuck them in the bin, but we were like, nah, let's throw them in the ocean and surf on them.
Oh, okay.
Right? Yeah. But the thing is, there was no waves, which actually meant our plan was to just balance on rubbish and stare at people, which is pretty creepy when you think about it. But I remember we saw this group of girls and we were like, hey. So we paddled over to them. I went to push myself up on this polystyrene block, and underneath me, I see the biggest stingray of my life. I'm talking like huge. And water's only waist deep, so I could have touched it. And instantly, my brain is thinking, I'm gonna die. I'm too young to die. Once it gets me, it's gonna get my friends. What are my parents gonna think? What are the girls on the beach gonna think? I start planning what I should do. Should I just freeze and hope that no one notices? Should I just start crying and hope that stingrays are afraid of human tears? Nah, I'm freaking out so much. I look down at the stingray and it has arms.
What?
Like, what sort of messed up stingray has arms? It's like it had eaten a small child and was just waving its arms out of its mouth. And it was mocking me because I moved my arm one way, it'd move its arm the same way. It was like a reflection.
Yeah, it was.
And look, my brain was telling me one thing, which meant that I acted in a certain way. And look, there's so many massive things going on at the moment, and we can't necessarily change those things. But one thing that we can change is the way we respond to it. And just because it might seem big and scary, doesn't necessarily mean that it is, or that that's the way we should act.
See, what I've learned about stress is it's kind of like a bow. A little bit of pressure is good. It can motivate us to do things. You know, learning a little bit about the coronavirus might motivate you to wash your hands a little bit more. Might even make you use hand sanitizer. Or you might have your first shower. Like, these things are good. But when that pressure gets too much, when it stretches too much, it can make it snap. And that's when stress isn't good.
Yeah. And so if you're stressing right now because you've only got 2 squares of toilet paper left, don't worry. We've got some tips on how to manage it.
One of the things that I've learned when I've got stressed is one of the best things to do to help is actually breathe. I know it sounds silly, but sometimes we can forget the most basic things. Like how our breathing pattern is. Are we breathing normally? Are we taking time to just focus on our breath and not think about what's going on around us? Maybe just don't breathe really hard out in public places.
Or on people, right?
So maybe not that. Another thing that I think you can do is talk to someone. But it all depends who you're talking to.
Yeah, I mean, like a whole bunch of you might have questions, but if you're just asking your mates, odds are they've got the same questions, eh? So it's important that you talk to the right people.
Yeah, and there's definitely some people that you shouldn't be talking to. I've heard some people be like, she'll be right. I haven't used toilet paper in years. I heard another person say, watch out, the world is ending. Jesus is coming. Like, it's important who you talk to.
So maybe take a moment right now to think about who are some people's opinions that you trust. Maybe it's your teachers, your parents. Maybe you even want to have a chat with your school counsellor, or even give Youthline a call.
Yeah, all those people have a really good perspective on this stuff, and they're here to help you as you go through some of these questions that you might be facing.
And look, another thing that you can do, and I realize it might be hard, especially if we end up self-isolating, is actually just taking some time out. Now, I'm not meaning from your mates, but things like social media, because there's a lot of stress and anxiety on social media at the moment, and it can actually be really good for your mental health if you take a break, take a step back. It's actually an opportunity now to try some new things, learn how to cook, play a board game with your family, try as hard as possible not to play a board game with your family.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe just self-isolate from your family.
Yeah, sweet.
See, there's some things you can do to take time out, and at the same time, it's letting your brain take a break from everything that's going on around it.
And the last thing that we want you to remember, guys, is we're all going through this together.
Yeah.
Which means that if you're having a hard time or you've got any questions, make sure that you ask them. And if you know that your mates are having a hard time too, check in on them, because we're all going to get through this craziness with each other's help. Yeah.
We're in this together. So if you have any questions, you find your parents, maybe a school counsellor, or maybe it's even jumping up on the Attitude Instagram and sending us a message and letting us know how you're feeling in this time. Peace.